everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. So
Yeah.
awesome to have you here. Oh my God, what an exciting day for Bitcoin. How many of you are making money? Give us a thumbs up in the comments section if you've been making money, right? Unless you happen to be in a short, in which case I'm sorry.
Yeah. I just need to quickly turn off the video. We had a little bit of a technical issue before we got on board, but so we don't hear ourselves reverberating. There we go.
There we go.
Okay. So exciting times.
Yeah, lots going on in the market today. And we're going to focus in mostly on Nicola's brilliance today because she's got some really good scenarios for you guys. When she showed them to me, I was like, oh my God, that's our live stream. So let's talk about the first scenario first, right? Which one do you want to do first? The full moon one? Or
well, no, I was going to do an overview of what's happening on the Bitcoin, and then a little bit of an overview on Ethereum, because we could be seeing a market top with a potential dump, which was the title of our video. Then we're going to go into scenarios that could be affecting price action that we need to know about. In the comments section, guys, I've got a free masterclass tomorrow on the secret keys to successful crypto trading. If you want to exponentially increase your income every day, you can sign up for that. And of course, we've got our Conscious Crypto event coming up next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're excited to have you guys join us at this event, and we'll be talking about that a little bit more at the end of the live stream. So we'll give you a full rundown on it.
And the links for all of that is below. But let's start off with Bitcoin. Today, Teresa, I actually wanted to start talking about mindset, because if you look at the fear and greed index, we are in greed. And I don't know if should I refresh the screen and see if we're at the same level?
Yeah,
right?
That's a great idea. It's been changing rapidly, you know, because the news is changing rapidly, right? But generally, there's a lot of excitement in the market around crypto right now with the recent climb upward, especially in Bitcoin. So when the greed index gets too high, that's not the time to be placing longs, right? That's the main thing we got to remember, because you want to be cautious when greed is high and be greedy when when fear is high. So
yeah. And so let's have a look at what's happened. I mean, mindset wise, Teresa, when we broke above this Fibonacci level of 51,352, I actually had it because we had this downward channel here. I had set my sell order for the top of this channel at around 53,100, I think it was. So I got stopped out of this. But when it started taking over, like it started taking off, I'm going, oh my goodness, did I get it wrong? Or like I started getting caught up in the FOMO. Oh, I should jump back in because this could go to 60,000, right? Mm-hmm. But then mindset, guys, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are doing that. And then all of a sudden they miss the U-turn. And then, then they lose out. So this isn't a time to long. I had to manage my mindset not to jump back in because of the reasons that we're going to be talking to you about in a moment. But then when I drew these lines, Teresa, we've got an upward narrowing wedge, and the price action has stalled at around 55,200, right? And we've come back down again, but we're just so close to the top of the wedge where we could either reverse down now or go back up a little bit and reverse back down. So this is the time to set up your next longs at the support levels. I went over the support levels in yesterday's live stream, went over them on Monday's live stream. So if you go over to our channel, go to our playlists, go down to our live stream playlist, crypto live streams, there we go. You can get all of those levels there. And then setting up for shorts, which is what we'll look at today.
So for those of you who are new to trading or new to our channel, we are not saying put in a long right now. We're saying put in a buy order down at the support levels when certain conditions are met. And so go back and watch Nicola's videos on that, because this is one of the key distinctions in learning trading, right? Like a lot of new tradings hear the word buy order or long, and then they rush over to their computer and put in a long, and they get burned and wrecked. And it's because they didn't really understand the fundamentals of what was being talked about here. So one of the reasons we're a tutorial channel is we want you to learn those fundamentals, right? We've got all the market conditions showing us that there might be some awesome buy opportunities coming up, awesome longs in the market. And for those of you who are courageous enough to short in a bull market, I don't think Nicola does, not when we're on a major bull trend, but there are traders out there who do. There could be a short coming up here too. So not one I would personally trade. I'm not recommending it. But it's important that you understand we're talking about putting in those orders at specific levels in the market, not right this minute. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at the price action of what's happened. If you remember 2.5 months of going upwards and down, up and down between this red line at the bottom and the golden ratio here at around 41,129, came up above it, came back down, tested it many times, and we've been following this support level really nicely. So my sense of it is that because of the scenarios we'll talk about in a moment, we might be above this pattern, and we'll have to see how the daily candle closes today, and then how it where it opens to see if we're going to come back down into the bigger pattern that we've been in since we started going into the bull run, right? So these are very strong support and resistance lines, so they can give us clues as to where we can enter those longs, right? So, the other thing I wanted to say is this golden ratio here. I don't know, Teresa, I don't know if we will go below this in this next retracement, because let's talk about let's talk about the scenario of Pluto coming out of retrograde on the same day today as the new moon.
Yeah, that's a powerful convergence. And for those of you who are suddenly rolling your eyes saying astrology, that's so woo-woo, you know, one of the most profitable traders of all time was a big believer in following astrology, because what we do know is the planets affect human behavior, and patterns in the charts are just the sum total of a lot of people placing trades. That's what these patterns are, right? Yeah. So I think that's a powerful convergence, because both of those things are really known to affect the way people interact, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there's a reason why we call people who lose their minds, that we used to call them, when it was politically incorrect, lunatics or lunacy, because of the link to the lunar cycle and the moon, right? So, so what we went over yesterday, we sent out warnings at the beginning of the week, actually, is that on this chart that Maureen Altman, shout out to you, awesome young woman who has a great channel. She's done this chart on TradingView, and the top are the new moons, and new moon energy always sees either the day before, the day of, or the day after a market top. Have a look at this. All of these new moons saw tops. Now, some of them saw big retracements after, we came out of new moon energy. And some of them only saw smaller retracements before continuing up in the bull trend. And that's where I think we're at. I think we're in for a relatively small retracement, because we are in Libra, new moon in Libra. Libra is all about balance. I'm a Libra, yay. So balance isn't the volatility of Aries or Leo with the fire signs, which has the energy to go up or down. It's more of a balancing act, and it's an air energy. So let's see. I have no investment in being right or wrong, but what it means is I'm setting up my mindset not to get caught up in the FOMO, the FUD, that we're going down to lower prices, because we have very strong support lines. So we're looking at, if we come back down, we've got the Fibonacci level at 51,972. And this is a market support level. Then we've got this bigger pattern. We could come back down here and retest this at, depending on where we hit it, somewhere around 50,000, maybe 49, even 48,000. We have strong support right here. See all of this trading of resistance, which we haven't retested as support. So it makes sense that if we do dip down back into the pattern, We could go to 48,100 approximately. And then obviously there's always the opportunity for us to fall even lower, to re-hit this support level around 44,300, depending where we hit, or even retesting the what do you call it, the golden ratio at around
Fibonacci line.
300. Yeah.
And a good thing to do when you're looking at the importance of these different resistance lines in the markets is always pull up the VPVR as confirmation, the visible profile, the volume profile visible range. Sorry, I'm saying that backwards. That's my dyslexia. Because that'll show you where all the volume is in the market. So that can give you a good sense of how important each of these supports lines are in the global scale of trading. Nicola doesn't have it up right now, but it's a good double check when you're considering your how much probability or how much weight do you put on each of these support lines.
Yeah. And like often in this market where Bitcoin has always been the leader, we have been seeing early signals a little bit more often from Ethereum, and Ethereum has a bearish divergence on the 1 hour. The last time I looked for Bitcoin, we didn't have that, but we might have had it now. So let's go have a look.
Yeah, so we're comparing the RSI to the prices on the charts.
The high there, and then the low there, and then we've got the low here on the price action and the high there. So we have our bearish divergence. So this is an early indicator that we are about to turn around. Even though this looks like it is a bull flag, we bring in the Ichimoku, and the Ichimoku was green this morning. Oops. Sorry for all these lines, but I like these lines because these means these could be support.
Yeah, it's hard to see the Ichimoku when you have the Fibonacci tool on. I don't know if you can click the Fibonacci tool off. Actually, zoomed in, you can see it better. Sorry, when it was zoomed out, it was really hard to see the cloud.
Yeah. I'm going to zoom in now.
Okay.
Thank you for the compliment there, Ras Negas. He said, my first live with these lovely ladies. I'm honored to be here. Thank you, Rob from Dan. Yay!
Oh, that's Digital Asset News.
Awesome. One of the speakers at our event next week.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to be doing a recorded interview with him later today, which we will post. So that'll be really fun. Yeah,
Rob actually did a video, didn't he? You were saying he did a video on I've sold my Bitcoin.
I know. Yeah. He's taken profit on his Bitcoin, as did I this week. So,
yeah, me too.
This is a good point. You always want to be taking some profits out, right? Because if you're just hodling, what's the point? Right. And you want to be thinking about what do you want to turn it into, right? We were at a pretty low point in the Bitcoin XRP ratio. So I actually converted some of my Bitcoin into XRP yesterday because I think XRP is going to be in for a big jump here when we start seeing some of this SEC lawsuit getting resolved. So XRP and ADA may not come back down as low as Bitcoin does on a percentage wise because they're sitting right on really strong support. But if we look at this, let's talk about mindset. If we look at this on the chart, this looks like a bull flag could be forming and we could all go, yay, we're going to the moon, we're going to 58,000, we might go to 60,000, right? And the Ichimoku cloud at the moment is showing bullishness. We've got the conversion line above the baseline, we've got the lagging span is above price action and it's above the Ichimoku cloud. It's not coming into the price action. However, what we just need to be ever mindful of is this upward channel. Did I do it on the 4 hour? Am I on the wrong chart? What happened to my big chart? You're on the 4 hour right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you, excuse me, remember this yellow line here where we had the upward channel? Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to have to go into the daily for you all to see it. Now, these upward channels often break to the upside, downside more often than they break to the upside. However,
We've got a divergence in the RSI. So when you've got a divergence in the RSI, that could be a good indication that we're going back down into the channel before the channel breaks out.
Yeah, and on the daily, we've got red in front of us on the Ichimoku cloud, which means we are heading into resistance. This is consistent with our new moon. New moons see a little bit of a pullback. Sometimes they see a big pullback. When we get to the full moon, which is at the bottom, we see a market bottom. So I'm not going to call it, because we're in fear and greed. And we could be in Looney Tune Town, right? We could get all of the retail buyers coming in, going crazy because they think we're going to 65,000 or beyond. And then it just gets totally crazy. And if it does get really crazy and we do break this resistance line above this rising channel, then that usually there is a really strong pullback.
Yeah. So remember, in the world of crypto, we are not predicting. We are telling you probabilities of things might happen. And then you wait for the confirmation of whether that or not that scenario is playing out, right? So if we break that upper resistance, come back and test that line, now becomes support. Now we know we're breaking out of the channel. That's when you would, as soon as the price action goes above the initial breakout, that's when you would place the long. If we bounce off that support, those of you who are courageous enough to short, that's where you'd be shorting. I don't recommend shorting in a bull market when the dominant trend is up, but there are people who do it. I think one of the most probable scenarios, though, given the divergence on the RSI right now, is that we're coming back down to test the upper line of that wedge as support, and we're probably going to bounce off that line. If we don't bounce off that line, if we keep going down, then the next two support lines, as Nicola said, would be the bottom of that upward channel or that lower Fibonacci line. Now, notice, though, that we've had an entire bull run, now that the big players have come into the market, of fake outs, of, where suddenly the market looked like it was going to break down and then it U-turned. So if we do go down that low, I think the likeliest scenario is we're breaking off that Fibonacci line. Personally, though, I think the most likely scenario is we're coming back down to test that resistance of the upper wedge, and then we're heading upward again. I think that's probably the most probable scenario, but you're not placing the trade until you're seeing what the market's doing, and then you trade, right? You wait for the confirmation.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying this, we would love your subscription. If you haven't already subscribed, we are posting tutorial videos daily, as well as going live every Wednesday. However, for the next 10 days, starting from a few days ago, we're going live daily, because as Stephen Baker said, this is awesome. I'm so excited for Saturn and Jupiter to go direct. Saturn goes direct on the 10th or the 11th, depending on what time zone you're in. And it goes direct on the, Jupiter goes direct on the 17th and the 18th. When I used to work in the stock market, it was well known that when Saturn goes retrograde, it affects the markets, and we have seen a huge effect. I'm not going to go over this. You can go to yesterday's live stream. If you're not aware of this fractal that we have been following. Oh, no, don't say I haven't got it all. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Oh, here it is here. This is Saturn retrograde in 2020. And bottom line is, see this yellow line here? This is where it went direct. And if you have a look at the trading the day before, there wasn't a big move to the upside and there wasn't a big move to the downside. But a few days after it went progressive, which would be on the 10th or the 11th of October, again, depending on what time frame you're in, this is when we started our parabolic run just before Christmas. So we have been following on this channel, the fractal, and we've been following it very closely. 2021 Saturn retrograde, very, very close to last year. And we're right here, like we're 6, 7, 8, we're right here on this red candle. So this is another reason why I think we will get a significant retracement within the movement, but not one of those really big drops. And again, could be wrong, not too concerned about being wrong. I'm just mindful of it so I don't get caught up in this euphoria, right? And then I don't get caught up in the FOMO, or FUD rather, around it going to lower prices. So the other thing about the 18th of October is Mercury comes out of retrograde as well. So basically, that Jupiter is the planet of expansion. Saturn is the planet of restriction and finance and career. So I think all heck is going to break loose on the 19th or the 20th of October, possibly start seeing signs of that after the 11th or 12th of October. Teresa?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I didn't realize you were kicking it over to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's one of the most powerful fractals we have right now. So we want to be paying attention to that.
So just be aware of this. We have a bullish pattern. We have bullishness on the charts, but we have a bearish divergence. So if we do break out of this, of this bull flag, it's possible we could come up and then come back down when we hit that top resistance line at around 57. And then we could wick above it maybe, and then come back down, either retest that Fibonacci or retest that Fibonacci, that support line. And then we could possibly come all the way down to around 44,000, maybe even 41,000. We will see. We're looking at this daily. So we will watch out for that. If you're shorting, I think you better know what you're doing, because all of the shorts since we've had this bull run have not fulfilled their targets in Bitcoin. They've done U-turns and people have got either liquidated or stopped out. So for me personally, I think it's better to set up your next longs at these pivotal what do you call them? Support lines.
At the support lines that it would retrace to. Most seasoned traders do not recommend trading against the dominant trend. And right now the dominant trend is bullish. We're still bullish on the weekly candles. So there are day traders or scalpers who do short in a dominant bull trend. You really got to know what you're doing to be trading like that. And you have to be glued to your computer and watching your trades. There's no way around it, right?
Yeah, no going to the beach.
And personally, I like to have a life. So I don't do that. You know, I'm like Nicola, we put in our conditional orders and we walk away and go garden. Right. And you can still make a lot of money. In fact, the interview I'll be doing later today with Dan from Rob from Digital Asset News. Sorry, Rob. We're going to talk about the different types of investing in crypto and the different types of trading, because a lot of people get wooed into leverage trading, or they do really high leverage trading. That's why 80% of traders lose money, because people are going into a high risk realm they don't have the experience to be going into. And the traders who make the most money are the ones that are just doing swing trading or spot trading or hodling. Those are actually the guys that are raking it in right now, right? And then when you do start to go into leverage, guys, I mostly do 2x leverage trades. 2x makes a lot more money than 10x or 100x. I have a video on that, and I show you the math on why that is the case. So you can go back and watch that video on the risk management playlist on our channel. It's a myth in trading that high leverage makes you more money. The math and the statistics don't support that.
Right, because you've got to remember, the higher the leverage, the higher the fees.
Yes.
And once you take the fees out, the profit is negligible. And I've certainly seen that in the trades. So Boss Baby, who's part of our Discord group, yay guys, if you want a little bit more intimate technical analysis, and be part of the community, we have a lovely growing Discord group, again, link below. They asked the question, what time frame do you use to get into your trade? Well, for me, I always zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out to actually see where the overall trend is. So I'm not trading against the trend. And then I will go down into the weekly to see where we're at with the 200-day moving average, especially for Bitcoin. If we're above it, it's great. If we dip down it, it's always been a little bit perilous. Then I look at the daily. There are people who do trade the daily candles as a strategy, but when I'm looking for patterns and I'm looking for trends, but when I'm actually looking at the trade itself, I come down to the 1 hour, because if you're day trading especially, this is more relevant. And before I enter, I go, hey, this is a bull pattern, which means, we might be going up here. But because we also do scenario trading on this channel, I know scenarios are showing us that we are going to potentially reverse here, and we certainly have that bearish divergence. But then before I enter to get a really good entry, I don't want surprises. So I come down into the 15-minute to go, I already know what the trade entry point is, but I want to double check that if it's a long, that we're bullish on the shorter time frame. So my entry doesn't go in and then immediately we're reversing back down again. That gives me a bit of a heart attack, so I don't do that.
I use similar to Nicola. I make my decision on whether to place a trade looking at the daily, the 4-hour, and the hourly, but I choose my entry points looking at the 15-minute and the 1-minute charts.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually use a paid indicator that was invented by Didi Taihutu called the Didi BAM. That really is super solid in nailing the market turnarounds. Maybe we can include a link to the DD BAM
the
down
link
below.
is down below for that.
Oh, it is.
Yep.
Okay, beautiful. Yep. It was worth every penny, because the difference, when you nail your entries, even if you're like $80 better on your entry point, that can make the difference of $2,000-3,000 in the amount of money you paid on the trade. So when I decided to purchase that indicator, it paid for itself within 2 trades. So personally, I think it's worth it to really, invest in your learning, invest in your tools, invest in your skills as a trader. That's why we're putting on this paid event for Conscious Crypto, because it's worth it to invest in yourself so that you're a more winning trader and you're more solid on your entries and your exits, and you're feeling more confident, you're doing better risk management around your trades, because really trading is all about risk management, right? And are you doing it effectively?
So then I also come down into the 5-minute, and in the 5-minute, you can see the lagging span on the Ichimoku clouds running into resistance, which is why we're getting a bit of sideways action. And you can also see the green Ichimoku cloud, which is flow, is starting to, I see how we've had the sharp incline and now it's starting to taper off. So this is another indication that we may be slowing down. We're creating lower highs from the top here, right? Lower highs, but we've found a leveling off at the bottom, a bit of support here short term. And if we draw, this is a descending triangle, which breaks to the downside 80% more often than it breaks to the upside. All technical analysis is law of averages. It's not prediction, as Teresa said earlier. And that's going to take us to approximately 54,000 again, depending on oh no, this is a flat edge, so it's going to be around 54,000 anyway. So we could be just coming back down and bounce off of the support line of the bull flag and then come back up again, or this might not be a bull flag and we're going to create another pattern. So that's another reason why you want to I just keep redrawing my trend lines all the time. Then before I get the entry, I come in the 1-minute to have a look at, can I get a better entry if we're going down a little bit lower, or are we going to go up? So the bottom line is zoom out, get a good idea of the trend, zoom in to 1 hour to get a good idea of the pattern that you're trading, and then zoom in even more to get an idea of a good entry that isn't going to immediately reverse on you.
Yeah. The zooming out, like this is a really good example why you want to zoom out, right? Because if you were only looking at that bull flag, you would be placing a long, like that would be a good indicator to put in a long. But when you look at the target of that bull flag, there's a major area of resistance in between the top of that upward trending channel, right? And so the risk reward ratio on that trade, just for me, it's not there. There's got to be enough reward on the trade to take the risk that the trade might not play out and it moves in the other direction. So you have to have at least a 2-to-1 risk reward before you place a trade, right? There's risk management tutorials in our risk playlist. So this is a really good example of why you zoom out, right? Yeah. Because you're not just trading the pattern, you're looking at where's the pattern situated within the larger market structure. And if the larger market structure is saying, ooh, there's something that might play out here and it's just ahead in the road, you don't stick the trade in, it's not worth the risk.
Totally. We've got another question here from Stephen. May was brutal. Yes, it was. But boy, oh boy, we saw it coming because there was a massive bearish divergence that went on for a month and a half, 2 months almost on the daily. So we knew it was coming.
Yeah, I'm laughing because like I was one of the few YouTubers that stuck out a video saying could maybe another red candle month. And I think we got so many thumbs down and everybody's saying, Teresa, you can't put out a video like that on a new YouTube channel. Nobody wants to hear that. And then, you know, afterwards, basically what we talked about in that video was pretty accurate in terms of what did play out in May.
Yep.
So guys,
so
you can make money no matter which way the market's going. Okay, so don't worry about it if we're talking about a brutal month.
Totally. So anyway, the rest of his question was, what are your thoughts on how the next Jupiter ingress into Pisces may affect crypto? Jupiter is going progressive, as I mentioned, on the 17th or 18th, again, depending on what time zone you're in. I have it for the 18th, and Jupiter being the planet of new possibilities and expansion. We're heading towards the latter part of the month, where traditionally October is a really good month anyway. But being in Pisces is the dreamer, the possibility, right? The dream, the elusiveness of potential and what's possible. So I think we're going to see quite a lot of excitement and euphoria in the market, which means it's possible that we could break the all-time high by the end of the month. Certainly first few days in November, but I think that's where we're headed. Got goosebumps on that, so I don't know if any of you go by goosebumps, but I pay attention to them. I don't always make decisions based on them, but I certainly pay attention to them. And if in yesterday's live stream and in the day before's live stream, I created a chart of law of averages on percentage increase and decrease in the price of Bitcoin since 2011 present day. And we're due for 3 green trading months in a row. And November particularly is potentially going to be quite explosive. However, it's a bit choppy in Vedic astrology. So Jupiter going into going progressive with Pisces around, we could actually see the euphoria start to happen in October. We'll see. We're following it. So all of the dates, by the way, we've got dates for the next 2 years on all of the moon cycles and the whole astrological aspects that we can be looking at as we transition out of the bull run into the bear market, if we actually get a traditional bear market this time. And that's all going to be presented at the Conscious Crypto event. So just to end off, unless there are any other questions, Teresa.
Yeah, we created this event for you guys, okay? We see a lot of people coming into the crypto space, and you know, the exchanges that report their stats indicate that 80% of traders lose money. We want you to understand how to invest wisely, and when you make money, how to keep the money, right? So this is a full gamut event, right? We have people talking to you know, how to understand the overall market analysis, what's going on in our industry. We've got Rob from Digital Asset News, who's brilliant in that respect. A lot of the people talking about if you're just entering the crypto space and learning how to invest, how do what do you want to hodl, and what are the basic fundamentals of spot trading, right? Like long-term investing, all the way down to folks who do more active trading and leverage trading and more risk stuff. But there's a continuum to this, and we want you to understand the full continuum and how to make your decisions effectively. We've also got experts in setting up your overarching tax structures for paying less tax and understanding the tax system. Including like, where do you want to hold residency, and where, if you want to be a digital nomad, how do you get that set up, right? We're also diving into topics like astrology and some of those scenarios, numerology. that, you might think these are really woo-woo topics, but there's actually a lot of evidence now that show these things do affect human behavior, and human behavior affects the price of crypto, especially the price of Bitcoin, because the market cap of Bitcoin is now getting quite huge, right?
Yeah.
We're now seeing Bitcoin exceeding the US dollar as the dominant currency traded on this planet. That's huge, guys, right? What that means is, if you're serious about being in this space, it's time to invest in yourself. It's time to get mentors and really start learning how to do this effectively, okay? So, and we know you've lost more than this on individual trades. This event is a fundraiser. It's supporting our conscious community here in Costa Rica. The money's going into things like road development or other infrastructure development. As well, we're making donations to some of the charities of some of these speakers. So this event is a give back, both to you, so you can really learn effective trading skills. It's also a give back at a community level. So invest in yourself. Instead of losing one of your upcoming trades, take a pause and invest in your own learning so that you can become the kind of trader that is in the upper 1%, ready to trade the upcoming super cycle, the upcoming bull run that so many traders are predicting is still yet to happen. I love that this event is going to be very much coinciding with Saturn going progressive.
Exactly.
I think we're going to be here right in the market most when you need us. So we're really excited to see you here at the event.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're going to walk away with a step-by-step plan and strategy on how to create life-changing wealth in the next 3 months. So if you want to make sure that you're positioned right, and you're going to learn from people who have gone before you from the very beginning of even if you're just getting started, it's like you're going to learn from people's mistakes, and you're going to learn the right way of going about it so you minimize your own mistakes, right? Plus the mindset aspect of it as well. So you'll have a checklist, you'll have strategies, you'll have altcoin ideas to get involved in. You'll have exit strategies on how you're going to transition out of the bull market into the bear market. We're going to have breakout sessions where you get to you get to massage what you're doing and soundboard it off other participants. So you'll get to meet the participants, even though this is an online event. And then for those of you signing up for the VIP, you're going to get an hour with me on mindset and emotional mastery, and you're going to get an hour with Teresa on her amazing setup for her strategies, so that for margin trading and spot trading, if those of you are interested in going deeper on that, so that all that information that you've learned over the weekend, you can hone it in, and then and really be clear on where you're moving forward. So that's that. Link is below to get your tickets. It's next Friday, guys. It's next Friday. And the very last early bird special ends Monday next week. So you will be paying $750 for the ticket if you drag your feet on getting your ticket. Whereas if you get it now, you're getting it at what, 40% off or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's that.
So just do it.
Join us. Great group of people joining us. Community is really important. I think it's the first time anybody's done an online event just for traders. There's been lots on crypto in general, lots on the blockchain, but nothing just for traders. People who are buying crypto and selling it for a profit, and some of you might hodl some of it in between. In fact, all of you should be hodling some of your portfolio, but we'll go over that. And the link is in the description below this video, and in the comments section and in the description below is the link to my webinar if you want to find out what these secret keys to successful trading are. I'm going to be revealing a strategy in here that you can use to create passive residual crypto on a day-on-day basis, and some percentages of what to do with your profits. So that's one of the many things I'm going to be following. So I think bottom line is we're watching this bearish divergence for Bitcoin to see what it's going to do. Yeah.
Yep. And So until next time, guys, trade consciously.
Trade consciously, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Yeah, and join us later for my quick interview with Rob Wolf from Digital Asset News. That's going to be
we'd love for you to like
brilliant.
this video. It helps us out with the algorithm, and we're so close to our first 1,000 for a new channel. That's really amazing. Subscribers. So if you're interested in more of what we have, then subscribe, click the bell, and click all so you get notified when we go live and when we upload our tutorial videos. See you later. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.
Okay.